Shabbat Shalom. This week's portion is taken from Genesis chapter 23 through chapter 25. It's a story now of Sarah's life, and she died at 127 years. And Abraham rose and wanted to bury his dead. He said to the people of the land, "I am an outsider. Give me a gravesite among you that I may bury my dead." And the sons answered and said, basically, "You are a prince of God among us. Bury your wife in one of our graves, one of the best of our graves." And he negotiated this thing and wound up buying a plot of land with a grave in it, and there he buried his wife. This is really the beginning of Abraham acquiring land there in Canaan. God told Abraham, "I will bless those that bless thee and curse those that curse thee, and you would be a blessing to the world." Evidently, Abraham was quite a blessing there, because the heathens in that land basically said to him, "You are a prince of God among us." And we too are supposed to be a blessing. Yeshua prayed to God about us in John 17. He said that, "Keep them, Lord. I don't pray that you take them out of the world, but you keep them from the evil one, because I want them to be holy, for I am holy." So we are to be a blessing to the world as he lives through us. Yeshua wants to be a blessing to this world through us. We have to submit to him and allow him to love people, to do things that are right, and to be righteous before the world. Now, the next chapter is 24, and he demonstrates another aspect of living. He didn't want his son to marry a Canaanite. He was following the rule about being unequally yoked. So Abraham was advanced in years, and he took his servant, and he asked his servant to make a vow that he would go to the land of his fathers and find a wife for his son. And his servant said, "Suppose that the woman would not be willing to come and follow me. Should I bring Isaac to that land?" And Abraham says, "No, by no means take him to that land." He says, "God will send an angel before you, that your way will be successful." So his servant took off and went to the east to find his son, and lo and behold, here he comes to a well. And it was a special well. And he just didn't fall upon it, but the angel actually led him there. And he prayed to God at the well, and he said, "Lord, help me that my travel be successful. And the woman that comes to the well, I will ask her for a drink of water, and she will say to me, 'Here's a drink. I will water your camels as well.'" And lo and behold, as soon as he finished that prayer, here comes Rachel. Well, and Rachel says, and he asked Rachel for a drink of water, and she says, "I will give you a drink, and I will water your flock." Isn't that an amazing answer to prayer? Immediately, before he finished praying, God had answered that prayer. So we have God, the great answer of prayers. And he has three answers. He has yes, no, and wait, or not yet. This was a great example of a yes answer. We think about Yeshua in John 17, how he prayed that we would be one. We would be united as he and the Father are united. And God didn't answer that prayer yet, but I'm convinced that he will answer that prayer. It's just a matter of time. Then I think of Paul. Paul prayed 3 times that the infirmity that he had would be taken from him. I thought it was interesting that he prayed 3 times because remember, Yeshua prayed 3 times in the garden as well. And the answer was, no, my grace is sufficient for you. And of course, Yeshua's prayer was, not my will, but your will be done. So we want to make sure that whatever the outcome is, that it's God's perfect will. Many years ago, I had a friend of mine was a pastor. And as a little boy, he was deathly ill. And the doctors came to his preacher daddy, and they said, if there's something you can intervene with God, you better do it, because this boy's not going to be here very long. He went into his prayer closet, closed his door, and before long, the doctor came knocking at the door, and he says, you better come, something's happening. And lo and behold, the boy was healed. He went on to become a district superintendent for the denomination, and he had a pastor under him that was deathly ill, and he prayed for him. Not only did he pray for him, they had hundreds of people praying for him, but God brought him home. God's will is perfect. God knows the beginning from the end. He knows the day of my death. It's not going to happen 1 minute before or 1 minute after. His timing is perfect. I think of Hannah's prayer in 1 Samuel 2. A portion of it says, Adonai causes death and makes alive. He brings down to Sheol and raises up. Adonai makes poor and makes rich. He brings low and he lifts up. He raises the helpless from the dust. He lifts the needy from the dunghill. To them, to make them sit with nobles, granting them seat of honor. For the earth's pillars are Adonai's, and he has set the world on them. And he guards the steps of the godly ones, but the wicked are silenced in darkness. And we know the rest of the story of Rachel. Laban and Rachel recognized the fact that God was in this thing, and they agreed that she would come and be the wife to Isaac. And the story is that he saw her, and he loved her, and he married her. So Abraham was correct when he told his servant, Adonai, the God of heaven, will order your steps and guide your way. And we are looking for God to order our steps and help us in our daily walk. Shabbat Shalom.